Howdy. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Hope you're having a beautiful day or night. I wanted to unpack probably one of the most common questions that I get asked, and one that I've often asked myself as well, which is like, do you ever feel like you're doing all the right things in personal growth or personal development or healing or business, this journey of, self-work, but you're still feeling lost, you're still feeling stuck or behind, like nothing seems to be changing? Because this is, been my reality, and it continues, to repeat itself throughout the journey of self-improvement, whether it was, maybe you're someone like me who's taken a lot of courses, who's read a lot of personal development books across different teachers like Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, journaling, mornings, planning, time blocking, you're engaging in affirmations and meditation, and perhaps you're still feeling lost. Like no matter how much effort you're pouring into yourself, you're not really seeing the fruits of your labor. And maybe you're wondering if something is wrong with you, or maybe like you're not cut out for this, or it's not working. If that's you, I hear you, okay? Like this, it has been me and continues to be me every time I feel tested by my circumstances. I have to remind myself that this is a byproduct of the journey of growth. It's not linear, right? It's actually like a spiral, I would say, where you're really revisiting old wounds or old patterns and feeling stuck as a reminder that you are on track. Like whether you're starting a business or you're just really invested in personal development, it's not like a staircase journey. Like I said before, it's a spiral. It takes us much deeper into ourselves before it takes us higher. And often, in those moments where we feel like we have the biggest breakdowns, it's actually the breakthroughs warming up. It's actually a call to go deeper within to identify something that maybe calls, holding us back. And for me, I mean, this is something that has been really, topical in my journey towards, like throughout last year was a really, really difficult period in my life where I was really pouring a lot of time and energy and love into growing my coaching business. I was seeing some results, but it didn't really feel proportionate with the amount of effort that I was putting in. And to make matters worse, my dad was diagnosed with cancer, which was incredibly confronting. It really took a toll on my, emotional well-being, especially given my dad is someone who's had a history of suicidal ideation. So naturally, I felt very scared and overwhelmed. It was around that same period of time when my partner moved away and we started doing long distance. And it was the first time that we'd been separated, in an 8-year relationship. So I felt so lost. I felt so confronted by my external circumstances. And no matter how like religiously I devoted myself to my practices, to meditation and to journaling and to going for walks and to, doing my subconscious reprogramming, I was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of suffering. I was crying every single day. And it was really difficult for me to, see any way out. And it was like it didn't make sense to me because I was like, man, I this is my life's work. I'm so devoted to putting myself and my own emotional well-being and self-improvement first, and yet it feels like nothing's working. In fact, everything seems to be crumbling around me. And I took it upon myself, instead of trying to grind up against the problem and continue to get nowhere, was to actually completely remove myself from the situation, completely remove myself from feeling stressed and worn out, showing up for dad, holding space for him, and then acknowledging that, hey, I need to actually take myself away to look after myself. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first, right? Before you can put it on others. And so I went to Bali, right? And you've probably heard stories like this before, the classic, spiritual entrepreneur goes to Bali and finds themselves. But in many ways, I did find something new about myself, which unfolded during a very deep and transformative retreat that I was on, doing really intense bouts of breathwork practices And what was revealed to me was this womb trauma, i.e., this like trauma that I had, I guess, held deep within of when I wasn't even born yet. This was later validated by, my dad, and also through, the healer and the coach that I've been working with, that my mum didn't really want to have me, didn't really want, me to be born. And I just had these voices that I was hearing in the throes of this really intense breathwork practice where I was like crying uncontrollably and, wailing loudly. And I saw this vision, almost like a dark cave, but I could hear voices, and it was like my mum and dad were arguing and my mum not wanting to have me. Now, without turning this into a therapy session, I'm sharing this with you to really uncover the fact that, hey, like all of the challenges that I was experiencing in my life and all of the attachments that I felt that I had, to different people and to my business and to food and binge eating, and all of these things were actually manifestations of the very low sense of self-worth that I had as a result of feeling like I wasn't wanted or loved or deserved to exist in this world, right? Just cut out there. But like I share that with you just to identify that maybe, maybe you're like me, maybe you've built the perfect to-do list, you've had your morning routine dialed in, you're really devoted to self-improvement, reading all the right books, listening to all the podcasts, but feeling empty and feeling like every new thing that you try feels like like you're Sisyphus, right? Pushing the boulder uphill. And so like the experience that I had in Bali, where I just stopped adding things to my plate. I started listening to my body, to the silence, to what I was avoiding. It was in that moment and through the practices. It doesn't have to be breath work. It could be all kinds of other things. But for me, it was actually realizing that I wasn't stuck. I was shedding old beliefs like I, hold no value, or I'm not worthy of love or abundance, or I don't have what it takes to succeed because I'm not I don't deserve to exist. And as a result of these transformations that were taking place internally, old identities were being shedded, old relationships started falling away, the pressure to have it all figured out started to melt away. And so, like, this is really just a reminder, an opportunity for you to consider that everything that you're going through is bringing you perhaps to your knees, like it did for me, to encourage you to find more stillness, to encourage you to lose yourself, because sometimes feeling lost is the first step towards finding yourself. You have to lose yourself in order to find yourself, because when your old world no longer fits, the old identities, the old beliefs, the old relationships, it means a new one is trying to emerge. You're not behind. You're not stuck. You're in this in-between liminal space. You're in this void. And this quiet, uncomfortable space, it's sacred. It's where the soul recalibrates. It's where the soul, charts a new journey forward. And so this is really, an encouragement to trust the process, because if you're there right now and you're doubting your path and you're feeling stuck, and perhaps like me, things are crumbling around you, you're questioning your progress, please don't give up. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're in the process of becoming. And you're going to look back now in a year or 5 years and be like, man, I can't believe I went through that. And look at how amazing, confident, successful, fulfilled I am now. That's worth staying for. That's worth staying for. And so, if anything, tune into that future version of yourself. Tune into that future version of yourself who's talking about this difficult time, who's sharing this story with others, and just like using it as fuel and empowerment to acknowledge that, hey, like this is just another chapter in your story, and it is being written as we speak, and it is the hero's journey where there is a breakdown in order to experience a recovery. There is, a losing of yourself so you can find this new self. And there's something really beautiful and sacred in that, if you're willing to acknowledge this space for what it is, this in-between space, this void, and really treat it with care and treat yourself with the same grace and self-compassion, that you've treated yourself so far. You're doing great. You're doing great. Just by virtue of you being here and sticking it out this far, it just shows and tells me that you have faith in a brighter future, that you have faith in yourself, that you have faith in, a higher power orchestrating things very intelligently and putting you through these tests for a very important reason. So if this landed with you, let me know, in the comments, or just drop a still here, just to remind yourself and others that we are in this together, and if you need a sign to keep going, this is it. Please like, subscribe, share this with someone who, you feel might be lost or stuck in their journey, like they're trying a bunch of things, but it's not working. I'm right there with you. I'm still learning. I'm still, just working the process each and every day, just like you. So, yeah, lots of love to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.